buddy.
Yeah.
What a time.
Yeah.
2 seconds ago,
Yes.
we're wondering how we're going to handle this because the juniors are playing and the Leafs just laid. Let's just go.
Oh my God.
Honestly, can I just say, actually, quickly before we celebrate this, thank you, Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank you, Matt Murray. Matt Murray, this is a patriotic act by you.
Big time.
That's it. It's Spin Zone. Just the true patriot, Matt Murray. Hey, you don't have to watch it. Oh, whoops. Oh, let's get out of here. Yeah, Canada wins.
Yes.
Dude, I don't even know. You ruined it for me. You're slightly ahead. We're trying to set things up. I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden, yay! Delayed feed just cost me the live celebration here, so I'm just rewatching the goal there. Look at that. Hey, guess what?
Josh Roy.
I know.
Kid's a stud.
Josh Roy is a stud, but I got to say, I really love that Gunther scored the game winner, considering he was the guy that called out the Michigan stuff.
Yeah, real captain.
The real captain of Canada, he called him out. And word is, did you hear Merrick talking about? He was on my podcast this week talking about how there was a little rumor that Canada Hockey had a bet about who was going to score the first Michigan goal.
Ooh, I didn't hear
and that was part. I know. I don't like hearing that either. This is a big moment, man. I don't know why. Dude, did you even know that we won the World Juniors in, August?
Well, I did know because the only thing that happened that I didn't watch 1 second of the tournament because it was the summer.
No, who did?
But the Mason McTavish thing was an all-time moment where he knocked it out of midair and brought it back in, and they end up winning the other way down. But
it's the only reason that anybody knew that existed.
But this is listen, people can make fun of us being the only team that the only country that cares about this, and I would beg to differ with the way the Americans were reacting after they got their.
No, dude, I need to say this quickly on that too. There is nothing more crybaby. There is no more crybaby behavior. Literally, that's like a little kid. I didn't even care anyway. If you beat a little kid at like a marble game, I don't know.
That's the number one go-to move.
That's the number one excuse of a literal baby is, I don't even care. And then they storm off crying. That was American fans. We don't care. We don't even get it on TV down here. We blah, 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 blah. Cry, cry, cry. Win. Gold. Canada win. Love it. Love to see it. So anyway, I'm going to turn this off now so I can focus on this.
So there's just a couple quick Bedard things to me that this is so important. I know we got the weird one in August, but this one is such like a big moment for him to have two. That's the start of like a huge sort of resume for him. It's all the greats. You look back on the guys that have the World Junior Gold, and it's a big one to get. So now that he's got two of them, it kind of puts him in a different sort of echelon. Yeah, right there, bud. You're moving around.
Completely agree. Yeah, I'm moving around. I'm trying to get things settled up here. Let's go. I'm listening.
I'm just really, really, really happy that he got another moment. And on the flip side, this is the first time he's been held pointless since the first game of the Regina Pat season. So if they had gone down and lost this game and he goes pointless, you know what the kind of conversation would have been around. I know he was huge in the tournament, but in the big game, he has no points. So I'm glad that they got this one for him. Thrilled that we are once again on top of the hockey world where we belong. We are the best Canadian children, better than anyone else's children in the world. It's a great feeling. So,
dude, yeah, we'll talk about the Leafs in a sec, but nobody cares. There's somebody that's so triggered right now in the chat, like, I'm from America and I just want to listen to the Leafs. I came here for Leafs talk. This is a fraudulent product. Couple things. I think that I had a lot of fun, and I know you and I watched a lot of the Shabbat year together where they lost in the shootout, which was dumb. I really enjoyed watching Shabbat that year. I enjoyed watching Connor McDavid, but the Connor Bedard experience was the most fun I've had since 2005. Like, I said today on my show that the World Juniors felt really back. I had a throwback, like, feelings. It was between, the mid and late 2000s watching this tournament where I actually cared. This has always been a tournament where I think when you're younger, you care about it, or you're a parent of somebody, or you're like, you get my drift, right? The meaning of the World Juniors has faded, but Connor Bedard was so special at this tournament. He became such much CTV that we got to learn a lot of the other players in this thing and get attached to the Roys and the Gunthers and the Fantillis. Like, and the Milic, like
Zellweger, I love. Milic was a stud.
Yeah,
like, they
Milic,
really had
exactly.
Some guys. Yeah,
like Connor Bedard. All those guys owe Connor Bedard a little bit for the name brand recognition that they're going to have. Like, you're going to see one of those names get put in a trade at some point in the next 3 years, and you're going to go, they got that guy? You're going to have that.
Bedard.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're going to have that guy without even realizing what the hell that player has done since the tournament, right? Yeah. There's going to be a Nigel Dawes effect for some of these lads, is what I'm saying. The Nigel Dawes effect. Anyway, that was fun. God, that was sweaty though. I hated that they played to not lose at the end. They're children. It's just children, but that was
just kids. But here's the thing with it though.
I was mad.
What about the last thing on this before we go?
Yeah.
What do you think about 3-on-3? It's a travesty, right?
No, it's a real travesty. It's like, okay, so you and I, going back to the Shabbat year, have always bitched about this tournament ending on a shootout. And then they said, there's no shootout this year. They'll play till the end. And I went, they finally got it right. And then they announced 3-on-3. And I went, I'd rather have 5-on-5 than the shootout. That's way more legit than 3-on-3.
Like, we just play hockey to determine the champion?
Are there child labor laws here that I'm unaware of with being like, why is it that athletes can just play sports, but then there's just weird moments where all of a sudden it's like, hey, no, if they do that, they'll end their careers. Yeah, like, soccer's all about this. Fine, soccer hardos, whatever, you can have it. But I've seen hockey games go multiple periods. It's fine. They're not playing tomorrow. It's a gold medal game. Let them play 5-on-5.
I guess I would understand it in the other parts of the tournament in the preliminary round. Like if you're not the preliminary round, but like the quarter and the semis, if you can't play 5-on-5 all night because you got to play the next game or whatever. But for the gold medal game, it's got to be 5-on-5 continuous 20s with like, it's no question. The fact that was 3-on-3, listen, it obviously turned out well for the Canadians, but didn't love it. Just doesn't look right. It completely changes the sport that they're playing. So thrilled that we won, like I said, but that was a little weird for them to go to 3-on-3. Especially to have an intermission and the continuous. I don't know. Anyways,
here's the thing: the only way, and I'm really not trying to take away from the true captain Gunther here, but you're never going to replay a golden goal where it's two guys standing alone in front of a net.
No, like it
just,
it's not. Win it.
Yeah, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing look back. You go, what happened here, right? So yeah, I think that you kind of do rob a little bit from the players on both sides. Poor Czechia, that's a
gritty. I was so impressed by Slovakia and Czechia. Both those teams played so well against us, like that gritty style that we used to play. Like they were much more like the older school Canadian teams. I mean, the States just whatever. They were candy ass the whole night. Like they were trying to go through everybody, typical American hockey, trying to dance everybody, selfish. They didn't do anything good. And then, that game was a really, really good one. Czechia played great. Give them credit. For them to come back in that third, find 2 goals, get back in it, rocking, building, big stones on them. And I see them crying. I feel awful for those kids. The crying shots, that's sick.
Hey, guess what?
You never get closer.
Do you know when I turned off my TV? I was kind of watching the celebration. I saw the first Czechia kid cry, and I went, bing, off. No, you didn't deserve this. No. You didn't deserve this. You guys played tough. Oh.
Czechia kid crying? Oh.
Dude, Czechia played hard. I got to tell you, I talked about this with Michael Futa today, and I talked about this with Chris Pronger, and it's probably going to come up as a topic tomorrow with Mike Commodore on my podcast. And I got some texts from some former players, some guys who've played in the Canadian program before, that the program has, like, this is a very nice win, but Czechia was doing our thing for a little while in that game. And if Canada wants to, like, when were they at their best? But like between the middle of the, I would say first and then the third period was they really started playing Canada hockey, where it's just like north-south, some physicality, some attention.
Lean, get it down low, cycle it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just got to kind of make sure that identity doesn't get lost, because that's what makes Canada, man, is the attention to detail. And just there were a lot of moments in this tournament where I was like, I feel like I'm just watching any other team, not Team Canada. But and at least they found it at some moments in that. And again, Gunther getting it, the true captain, who we'll never see, because
how about his first goal? Oh my God. That was a 10 out of 10 NHL blast from the top of the circle, bar down.
Short side.
And then Shane Wright, who I said on Kipper and Born today, I said, hey, Shane, enjoy this game. It may be the last one you ever play for Canada. And then he scores the best goal of his life. So in my face.
That's an ouchie. Well,
that's an ouchie.
Dylan Gunther, you'll never see again because he's a Coyotes guy. So I hope you enjoyed seeing him and enjoying him trying to be a winner.
Mullet Arena.
Yeah, no. Unless you got one of the 8,000 tickets during the times the Leafs play there, or the Habs. Honestly. You'll never be seen again. Anyway, awesome win for Team Canada. Awesome moment for Connor Bedard.
Go Canada. Fired up. Canada, way to go, fellas.
Yeah, again, name brand recognition for a lot of the fellas. Connor Bedard, dude, if you're a Canucks fan, this guy is he's from BC, and you're out here kind of finding ways to steal games, and you got JT Miller saying that he's working hard by not getting any points.
He's better when he doesn't get points.
you gotta
just ask him.
Dude, I was gonna make a joke that I would have gotten in trouble for. I'm not gonna do that one, but just get rid of your guys. You gotta learn from Kawhi, learn from the NBA tank, sit guys, bench guys. Dude, if Tortorella can sit good players, so can Boudreau. Just do it.
Gabby's still holding on there. How is he still the coach? Just holding on for dear life, Gabby.
Dude. Gabby. Come back to Toronto, watch the team that you like, fall asleep again at a reasonable time, and talk about wrestling with Jackie Redmond. That's what you want. That's Gabby. Gabby, this is why.
Be a guest with your podcast and Kipper and Born. Just do what you actually love.
Watch the Leafs game half awake and watch WrestleMania and then come back on and just have a good time. You don't need this. You don't need this. Your resume is bulletproof, buddy. Yeah. Anyway, all right, the Leafs game. I don't really know what much to say here, partly because I was watching it.
How much do you watch?
Here I watched the whole second period with real
quick quiz. Who scored the Leafs goal? John Tavares with a tip in front of the net on a beautiful pass by Mitch Marner playing at the top of the top on the 5-man power play.
Don't expose me like that. Let's show run the Leafs goal so I can see it for the first time.
Listen, there's one talking point.
Yeah, I know. I think there's two.
Okay, what's your first one?
Well, the first one we got to start with is the goalies, man.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth goal Matt Murray let in was it's got to be worst goal of the year. Here's the highlight reels of his goals against tonight. I thought 1, 2, and 4 were horrific. I'm never gonna really blame a guy for a breakaway goal.
Yeah, it's tough to get on him for that one.
But he killed them tonight. The game's over when he lets in that fourth goal. It's just, hey, it's go home night, even for a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs that has an awesome offense. That's not really what they've been this year. But yeah, the game was done. They had a period left to play, and Matt Murray buried them. He was awful tonight.
Yeah. So, are we now? If I'm dialing up the panic meter, where are we at here?
What's it out of?
Let's go to not 10 because that's too extreme. Let's go to 5. It's out of 5.
Then I'm at okay. I'm at a 2.5 because I'm just pretty level, dude. I thought we got way too high.
Oh, that's such a bad goal.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the fourth goal.
Yes.
It just the fourth goal is beyond horrific.
That gave me Gustafson flashbacks.
Yeah, I saw our buddy Jake B. Leafs tweet Vesatoskala, and that's what I felt too. That's a Toskala goal. Anyway, you can even keep running it, show. I don't care because we're going to talk about it. But I'm at a 2.5 because I think we got way too high when they were performing well.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate trying to take away credit for them retroactively but I said this at the time, is they were playing behind one of the friendliest situations we've ever seen Leafs goaltenders play behind in the Austin Matthews era, right?
No doubt.
It was basically do not let in bad goals, and they didn't do that, and so they deserve credit for it. But I never really felt like there were too many games where those guys got tested, right? Remember when Samsonov had the back-to-back shutouts, and you went, Okay, where were the saves in that game, though? Where were the saves that Samsonov had to make in that game? And Matt Murray, it was kind of a similar thing. The tough games where he started to show a little bit of the trouble spot was when? It was against Tampa. He played Tampa. Tampa had some quality chances, and he hurt them with what I thought was his first bad goal of the year, like starting from his recovery from the injury forward. And since then, it just feels like when the Leafs have given up a couple of opportunities and they've been like, they haven't had the better goaltending for a little while. It certainly hasn't felt that way. So I'm at a 2.5 because I think that the Leafs blue line is going to stay, like the team defense is going to stay solid, and that Matt Murray and Samsonov, like they're going to be able to piece together enough decent games that this isn't going to be, a nightmare for the rest of the year. But this is where my true panic and my true fear comes. And this is what sucks about observing the Toronto Maple Leafs, is you can never stay locked in on the moment. You're telling me that they're going to go into a playoff series against Vasilevsky and win with these guys? Like that's the like, oh, so cold. And it's not like you ever feel good with goalies against Vasilevsky, but yeah.
That's the tough part, is because every conversation that we have on this post-game show, you have to then unravel it out to the playoffs, where they're definitely playing Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs. And
you have to play perfect against them.
Can you picture either of these guys outplaying him? Although I will say that the last guy to beat him in a game 7 was Matt Murray, Andre Vasilevsky. So there's that little bit of, in 2012, whenever the hell that was when that happened. But it was actually 2017. But I completely agree that I'm not going to go all in on panic. The Leafs got past. They got through playing pretty well last year with really, really bad goaltending, even worse than this, if you can imagine. But I do feel a little bit because I think the next topic you're probably going to bring up with me is Morgan Rielly, right? Is that the next thing you're going to bring up? I do feel a little bit for him in terms of since he's come back from injury, they have not played well. He came back against Arizona, right? That's how his first game back it was. And they lost that one to Arizona on the pizza that he threw. And then they won a great game on New Year's Eve against Colorado. Then they've lost to the Blues, and now they've lost to the Squids in pretty emphatic fashion. I think it's pretty easy narrative to draw, being like, wow, they get him back and it's gone south. But they also haven't got a save in a lot of these games. Like it's a tough, because I think we all were pretty spoiled with how good they played without him, and you kind of forget and you're thinking about how good they look. But like, I think you got to be careful before you just say, oh my God, Morgan Rielly's the problem on defense. And I'm not even completely against that conversation. Don't get me wrong.
Fair. Like you're saying it like that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying dude, I'm not saying you. There is a lot of people saying that. Like, I'm not just putting it on you.
Here's the thing though. What did I just say? That the environment in front of the goaltenders was terrific, and then Morgan Rielly comes back and the environment in front of the goaltenders hasn't been as good. So I'm sorry, but there is a little bit of chicken and egg happening here. It's also not a great time. I don't know what the company is, but there's a Morgan Rielly pizza promotion happening right now, and it is just there has never been a worse time for a promotion of it. It's the new Hey Du Turkaloo. I can't believe it. It's both pizzas. Hey, if you're a Toronto athlete, don't accept pizza endorsements.
Or primo pasta and sauce.
Yeah.
Andre and Barney.
Italian food. Okay? No Italian food. That's my rule. If I'm an agent, Italian food. It used to be the Raptors, what was it, the GoDaddy curse? Now it's Italian food curse in Toronto. Just do not do it. Do not do look at me. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You have way more money on the line. Okay. I don't want to put all the blame on Morgan Rielly, because it's not all Morgan Rielly's fault.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm getting at. But it's worth the conversation.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they're clearly adjusting to having him back in the lineup, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does Morgan Rielly play at his best? Is if he can if he's okay to make a mistake every once in a while. But what have the Leafs been so awesome at is that they haven't really been making mistakes for a while. So
they've been risk averse. They haven't been taking risks, and for those, 14 games that he missed? For those games, they played the most defensively sort of strict and not really taking any chances. And then I guess when you're trying to work them back in, like, I guess the question you have to ask yourself, and it's a big one, and they obviously thought it was because they gave him a massive contract extension, are the offensive upside with his exactly 0 goals so far this year worth the defensive shortcomings, which there seem to be many of. It's a scary contract, man. You look ahead, and like I really do have my worries about this. You can't not. 14 games is a small sample size. Yes, please.
Yeah, well, you want my true serum? Buddy, yes. You know me. I've never been a Morgan Rielly guy. I've loved Morgan Rielly, the dude, the character, the athlete.
Yeah.
And watching him skate when he's going, when he's flying down the wing, he looks awesome. But you know me since day one. What did I say? If Jake Gardiner wasn't here, Morgan Rielly would take a lot more heat. Right?
Yes,
the issues with Morgan Rielly are the same ones that he's had from his whole career. If Tyson Barrie wasn't here, Morgan Rielly would take a lot more heat. He had that wonderful 20-goal season, but that kind of made people's expectations of him as like an offensive goal-scoring guy way too high. They play the North Division season. That's like, you can just scratch that from record, essentially. Look at the rest of the body of the work. It's just he's never been I hate saying a complete guy, but it's just he's always been a little overrated by this market to me. But you don't want to ever say it because Morgan Rielly, the human being, is just like the character guy. He's the Leaf who has just been here for a while and cares so deeply about winning. He's a freak athlete. He's a gym guy. Like, there's so many things to like about Morgan Rielly, but no, I think that his game has always been a little bit overrated. The offensive impact of him has, I think, been a little overrated. And I've always thought that the defensive stuff kind of negates it. And that because he's been on teams where there have been other whipping boys that are far less likable, like I said, Barrie, or that had permanent dumb guy face whenever they made a mistake, like Jake Gardiner.
Potato head, yeah.
Yeah, that it helped shore things up. Plus, he's always been good in the postseason, though, which, again, you and I always have to say because he has been, but...
I mean, he's been good for the 7 games they play every spring.
Yeah, he's never had a whipping boy moment where people in the postseason
but now
go,
he is number one. He is number one whipping boy in the market. I think maybe Samsonov and Murray, if this continues, could maybe take that belt from him, but he is the number one guy that people are going to put their ire towards now. And I think...
But those two guys were wild cards.
For sure.
Those two guys were lottery tickets.
No, it's a different situation, 100%.
Yeah. Like Morgan Rielly, when he got that contract, everybody went, oh, well, he took a discount to be here. He's a hero and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, it's not that you'd ever have to dump it because other teams would happily take Morgan Rielly. I stand by my fake trade of find a way to get Karlsson here, trade Morgan Rielly to San Jose, get Timo Meier, put the Jake Muzzin contract in it, give them Pierre Engvall and then some young guys and some picks or figure it out,
You try that one on NHL 22? Did it work or no? That's a blockbuster.
That's the trade, dude.
Do you think I guess offensively, Erik Karlsson is just such an incredible dynamo that it's like that's why you do it. He's a complete black hole defensively as well, but at least you're getting the offensive upside.
Erik Karlsson is, guess where he is in even strength points?
It's like, was he 10th? 5th?
First.
He's first?
Yeah. Even strength points, he's first.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So maybe the upside's worth it then.
No, dude. That's again what's funny about the Bedard thing when people go, you don't know, JD. You say all the markets, you're mean to the other markets. And I go, yeah, Erik Karlsson's having like a legitimate savant season. And guess who's seen a second of it? No one.
When they played the Leafs, I saw a couple games.
Yeah, exactly. And he dominated. He was awesome. No,
he scored the overtime winner, didn't he, in one of the games against Shalgren? Yeah.
He's got 35. This was as of yesterday, so I don't know. This isn't fully updated, but I still had it in front of me. As of yesterday, Karlsson has 35 even strength points, 19 first assists, by the way, on that. Only 8 secondary assists with 8 even strength goals. Second is Tage Thompson with 29. So it's like he's not only first in even strength scoring, he's first by like a margin.
So you think no question
on the Sharks?
You think no questions asked that somebody would take Morgan Rielly in the full contract? Like you think you'd get value for him?
No question.
Okay.
No question. Dude, there's not so many. Again, this isn't okay. Two things can be true. Is Morgan Rielly struggling this season? Yeah, 100%. Like he's having his worst season as a Toronto Maple Leaf. Like there's no doubt about it. He hasn't been good. He hasn't scored, and he's been hurt. It's the trifecta, and he hasn't found a D partner that has suited him other than obviously playing with TJ Brody, who's the fixer for everybody, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the worst year of his career. Is he fitting on this team right now? No, not spectacularly. But also the Leafs have guys who can move the puck.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Leafs have guys. Sandin can jump in on a power play and perform decently. Like he can basically make up.
There was a time where he was the only guy that could snap it out.
Exactly. He is, his skill set, while still unique, is not that unique to the Leafs. Now with Liljegren, now with Sandin back there, you saw what they looked like when they were without him. Mm-hmm. Like TJ Brody, same thing. Mark Giordano, like all these guys can make a pass, man.
Gio had a tough night tonight.
Yeah, Gio's been having, I think,
was he dash 3 or 4 tonight? He was on the ice for a lot against.
I can tell you right now that I've had, and I think I said it to you actually on the last show, that he's had a couple of nights where I've gone, you're starting to look a little old sometimes.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that at the beginning of the season, and that's a little spooky too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, of course you'd get value from Morgan Rielly. Like, of course you would. Of course. Like, you're not giving anything up. Like, I don't even really understand the question. You would get like good stuff back from Morgan Rielly. Power play, proven, awesome club, like locker room, crazy athlete who scores points year over year over year. Like, there's not 20 defensemen in the NHL. There's not 15 defensemen in the NHL like that are like Morgan Rielly. So yeah, of course you'd get something back. I just wonder if
I agree. I was just wondering what you're thinking on it.
Yeah. No, dude, again, it sucks because I'm a fan of his in one way and then really not with his fit on this team. Like, I hope he bites this conversation in the ass. Like, again, it's not even halfway through the year, so hopefully it comes down later that we all look like idiots. But
yeah, once the Leafs play their 7 games in the first round and he plays great again, then they'll be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, gap control, winning puck battles, like getting in the corners, killing a cycle, playing mistake-free hockey. Like, none of those things are Morgan Rielly tenants.
Did you see, maybe you did, it was late in the third, but did you see that Holmberg got a shift with Marner and Tavares?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Got a shift. Up there.
You think Kipper's going to buy that NFT? Like,
because we were talking about it on the show today because they're doing the fan voting for All-Stars now. There's the 3 spots for each division is going to be All-Star. So I was starting it on our show that we're going to do the hashtag push for Pontus and get Pontus Holmberg on the as one of the Atlantic Division All-Stars because the Kipper and Bourne show loves him so much. But I think that he actually had a really nice backhand chance where he broke in on a great pass. I think it actually just hit the shoulder of Martin Jones, who actually looked big tonight. Looked pretty good. Yeah, outplayed Murray by a bunch.
A couple of nice saves.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have been tough to outplay Matt Murray. That's not really a big compliment, but he looked good. But Pontus, again, getting elevated up the lineup, looking great. It's really nice that the Leafs have a little bit of found money with a guy, like a guy that they just bring up from the Marlies, and he's just an everyday guy. Like, I know we talk about him and praise him, and I think probably a little bit too much on our show. But I just
do. You guys were talking about, I was dying. You guys talking about moving Tavares to the wing so that you could accommodate him up the middle.
Get the Pontus, but he got up on that line, so maybe we were right. Who knows? But love what I've seen from him tonight, and another couple good shifts playing with Dryden Hunt, who's running around at least. So that's pretty much all the positives I have. Is Tavares got on the board with a nice tip, and Pontus Holmberg looking good. Those are your 2 positives of the night. Yeah. It's not good.
I actually wrote down, like, I really liked the way that the Leafs came out in that game too. And that's what even hurts. That's what even hurts about them losing.
They caved them in for the first 10 minutes of the game. They couldn't get a goal.
That's what I mean. And then like they played well, they were dominating, and then all of a sudden your goalie lets in some softies, and it changes the complexion of the game. And yeah, it's hard not to fear. But yeah, to me, you never answered that, by the way.
But
if your scale was at a 5, what's your panic? Like I said, I'm a 2 point. I've seen these guys play good. I've seen these guys play bad. I think that over the course of the season, one of them is at least going to be hot at one given time.
I'd say I'm just more up and down than you. I think maybe it's pretty even. Maybe that's why we do this show. But I would say I'm probably a 3, to be honest. Yeah. I think I'm a little bit more panicked than you are, just because the Samsonov thing is like. Murray, I don't know if he can re-find it, but I just really feel like it's all the way gone with Samsonov. Like, I just have no belief that he's going to get it back.
You know what's funny?
That's what scares me the most about it. Like, I just feel like now that it's gone, it ain't coming back. And Murray, maybe, but I don't know if he's going to get it back. Like, I really do feel like this is going in a very bad direction here. Both of them seem broken.
Dude, you don't sound like a 3. You're like, I'm just as funny you at a 4. You're like,
I'll say 5,
I'm
sure.
A 3. But I think Samsonov has lost it completely.
But I do have faith in Murray from what I've seen. Like, I do feel like he could come back. That's why it's not a 4, because I do think Murray can come back a little bit, But yeah, I am concerned. I'm more concerned about Samsonov than I am about Murray, and they need him to play. They need him. They have back-to-backs coming up here. They can't just bench him. He's got to play.
Back-to-back. Well, I saw Bourne tweet this, and Bourne's on Sunday and Wednesday this week, so we'll finally get him working again. It'd be nice to have Justin Bourne just actually get to work. That's nice. Oh, hell. I love Bourne's texts. As he's the nicest guy, right? You can never call him out of it. Oh, hey, fellas. Good to hear from you. You see him every day. Thumbs up. Yeah.
We hang out literally 5 hours a day, every day.
Yeah, I know. So
actually more like 3.
Yeah. Either way. He had a good tweet about how they want to stick to the schedule so bad that they don't even pull their goalies during games, which I thought was kind of interesting because this is 2 games in a row now where you and I have both exchanged texts of you got to get him out of there, which is not a great. Yeah, get the hook. That's 2 in a row. This is the difference, though. I actually thought that Samsonov bounced back and made some big saves. And yeah, I told you the Leafs shut down the last game and they didn't really allow for anything else to happen, and it was a closer game. So, on a scale, this is if you want a real hot take from me based off of one game.
Yes, please. That's what we're doing here.
I don't love Matt Murray's body language all the time. Like, they have different types of body language that I'm not crazy about. Samsonov's looks like he gets a little rattled at times and he
blames
starts to swim. Yeah, Matt Murray looks like this is such a reach. But I'm just doing it. Who cares? He just looks sometimes like he's pissed at his teammates. Like, he gives guys little bits of glare, and I can't tell if I'm getting a good look through his helmet or not, but he looks like the kind of guy. There was one moment tonight, I texted you, where Matthews was in front of him, screened him a little bit, and he made the save and he covered it, and he shoots him a glance, and I went, it's Austin Matthews. Like, look down at the puck.
Can I be honest about that? About something on that? I'd rather my goalie be like that than be blaming himself the whole game.
Hey, a good change of pace from the Jack Campbell era.
And we have Russia Jack too. Like, the Leafs, like, they have Russia Jack now. You know, it's like they got guy who blames his team.
So they got Russian Jack and Canadian Anderson.
Yeah. Exactly. But like, I'd much rather have a goalie that is like a dick and doesn't care and thinks that it's not his fault. You know, like, I guess it was Mrazek's fault too last year. Mrazek was like, oh yeah, we just got to get back going again. 6 more going past him. So I don't know.
I'd rather
the goalie make some saves, so I don't have to talk about the goalies every show I do. I hate talking about goalies. It's all we do is talk about goalies.
I want to see a podcast where Fred VanVleet and Matt Murray just get excuses back and forth. The two of those guys have a real sit down, and Fred VanVleet goes, when you look at the tape, it's a lot of contested jumpers and not out of rhythm. And Matt Murray goes, when you look at the tape
today,
it's a lot of me getting screened and. Yeah. It's a lot of me getting screened and not really getting to see the puck. It's not really fair. I wasn't in rhythm. I didn't get to play the amount of games I want to play. Those two guys, it'd be an amazing podcast. All right, we good here?
All good.
Yeah, go Canada.
Love it, boys. I can't wait to watch the highlights.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the highlights either. Although that feeling of when Chechia tied it on a bad bounce too, I thought we were losing for sure. And then the forgotten moment forever is going to be Chechia with like getting that icing call at the end of the game and then banging the puck around the net in the crease as Milic is on his back.
Oof,
and
thought it was it. Quickly, before we go. Remember how I said it was a 3 out of 5? Maybe I'm a 5 out of 5. Jonas Siegel just put this out right now, about 15 minutes ago. Do you see this? Where the Leafs rank? The Leafs rank 32nd in team save percentage since December 15th. With an 852. So might want to get that going north, fellas. Might want to get that going north.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Joe Wall, 7-0. The savior.
The wall. Put up the wall, baby.
7-0. The savior. The savior could be arriving at some point. Dude, that's pathetic. Doing this. That's bad. That's a bad stat. That's a tough stat. Well, I had some people freaking out because I just did a fun tweet about the frauds. By the way, follow us on Twitter at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee, Instagram too. And make sure you leave 5-star reviews on the podcast pages on both Spotify and iTunes. Even if you watch this on YouTube, leave the thumbs up, do all those things, share it with your friends. But yeah, that's a tough stat. And I was tweeting about him tonight, and I got people going like, you guys are overreactionary. But yeah, you start to put up extremes like that, and you feel bad.
852. Those are Jack Campbell in playoff overtime numbers. That ain't good.
That's not what you want to see.
No.
852.
852. Oh my God, that'd be bad in the 80s in the OHL. 852.
At least they got that pick with the Matt Murray trade. They got that 3rd round pick. Could still be something. They could.
Maybe we could draft Milic with that pick.
Yeah. Oh, Milic. Yeah, Milic is the man. Milic is the man. Oh, that whole Team Canada is all the dudes. Those guys ruled tonight. Happy birthday to Shane Wright. Happy birthday to Stewie, too, another Canadian junior legend, eh? Like, after pull that one. Anthony Stewart's his birthday. He's on the podcast next week. Him and his brother getting honored by the Kingston Frontenacs like a week from now. They're getting their, I don't know if they're getting their jerseys raised, what it is, but yeah, they're getting honored.
Jersey retirement.
Yeah. I'll do the research before Stewie comes on. All right.
Love you, Stewie. You're the man.
Yeah. Love you, Stewie. Stewie is the man. What a cool guy. Anyway, we'll see you later. Subscribe, review, do all those sweet things, and we'll see you Saturday night